been here on the Sharp's Acre reunion problem. What would you want to talk about on that, Terry?
The reason we're here tonight is they moved a camper in there a couple of weeks ago. And we were curious if they got permission from the city in some form. And I think their intent was to live in it because we know they got a electrical, or they requested an electrical connection for it. So we're trying to understand, did the city grant them permission to move it in there and live in there, or?
We ain't granted nobody nothing to live in it, live in that camper. But they sold the place. I don't know who they actually sold it to, but the lady that owned the place, she come and, would you come? Would anybody here from over there? They come and canceled the order on the tent pole and all that, said they had sold it. So,
Yeah, we know that, but
Now-
again, we're trying to understand, did they do it on their own, or was they granted, some permit or permission?
we don't.
Because it's totally against the,
Right, we can't give them no permission to put a track or a camper in there. You know what I'm saying? But now, now on the cleanup part, I went over there, I told you I looked at it, but it does have some issues that's gonna have to be cleaned up. But then they've got the letter ready to send to them and be sold to them. So I'm glad we have to find out who the new owner is. We'll check over at the courthouse, the property assessor, register, and then we can find out. But it did, I read Jack called me and said it did sell, so.
and the other issue that I wanted to raise to the council was, when we were here last, you suggested that we talk to the planning commission and try to get some answers. Well, the planning commission never did entertain us, never conducted a meeting. I got a call from Jack, but that didn't satisfy the rest of us, So I guess I'm saying I'm not pleased with that. If you're suggesting that we talk to somebody about an issue, they ought to at least give us a meeting.
Well, he said they can't.
So are they sanctioned by you all?
The board appoints them, the.
Well, you need to have a discussion with Jack about this, if you
Well,
would.
I talked to him and they had to cancel the meeting, I reckon.
Well, there's other days to hold another meeting. My point is, they
Right.
didn't even entertain a meeting.
Well, I'm not, he told me he told you to talk to the attorney.
And we did.
What did
But
he?
that's irrelevant to what I'm saying.
Well.
What I'm saying is, we wanted
had
a
a
meeting
meeting
with
with
somebody
Brad.
that could give us some answers,
Well,
and we didn't get that.
What did the attorney, what did he say?
The attorney says our document is legal, and that if we wanted to pursue something, we would have to sue somebody.
Well, what do you expect from the planning commission, I mean?
I didn't know at the time.
I thought.
You, like I said, you all were suggesting, we talked to the planning commission about the R1, R2, R3, whatever. But the planning commission never gave us a meeting.
Well, see, I talked to Jack and I thought he'd talked to you about that when he told
He
me.
called me, but that don't satisfy these other
Well,
neighbors.
what do you want to know? I mean?
He
As
didn't
far
really
as-
tell me
well,
anything.
Well, there's really.
I think the point I'm trying to make, Shane, is they didn't give us a meeting and they should have.
Well, the way way I understood it, I thought that he talked to, maybe he talked to the city attorney, and he got it figured, kind of got it resolved, you know what I'm saying?
So the city attorney, according to what I was told, the city attorney told us it's not a city problem.
Well, really, it's a homeowners.
Okay.
Association. Now, the cleanup part is a city problem.
Correct. Which goes back to what we were asking about, if there was permission, some type of permission granted for them to put a trailer to live in while they either demolished or rebuilt the house, one or the other. Now, if the city gave them permission to do that, because they have a frost-proof RV tap out there right now, If the city gave them permission to do that, it violates item 4 of our covenant, which is a legal and binding document. Therefore, if legal action would have had to pursue, the city would have been involved and then it would have been a city problem.
Well, I assure you, the city don't have that right. And we don't have.
I agree.
And we don't have that right to tell them they can't do it.
I understand that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you could, I mean, if it's that simple to fix, I'd call and say, hey, you can't do that.
Right.
But that'd be just like Ed Morton or me telling Tom Quinn, you can't park your RV over there, that subdivision. He'd tell me to probably go to hell. But we ain't allowed to tell him that. I can't tell you what to park in your driveway or anything, those restrictions. And there's no city codes saying we can grant anybody permission to park a camper there.
Right. But there is city municipal code that requires if your vehicle doesn't have current tags, that you can't park it in visible view. It has to be in a garage.
That ain't a vehicle.
Well, I realize that, but it's, I'm just making a point
Right,
about
right,
talking about
right. But
city
now,
enforceable
Now,
items.
like the cleanup part, I went over there, I took pictures, we got the picture. Like I said, I had him to do the letter to tell them to have to clean that up.
Right. Did you get the document that we filed
Yeah.
May 29th
Yeah.
regarding,
So I'm just about, I don't really know what to do, Because we talked to the attorney, evidently Terry has talked to him. We can't tell the people they can't pull a trailer in there. I mean, hopefully it ain't gonna be there no more if it's sold.
correct. The
Yeah.
problem sort of is starting to resolve itself, right?
Yeah,
We-
so what I said to these gentlemen was, we're thankful who bought the property, but if somebody else bought the property and they had the intention of doing the same thing that these people here were doing, what's allowing that to happen? And that's our conversation, that's what we're
Well,
saying.
of course,
You know.
this is what, Emma.
You know, what's allowing these things to happen?
Well, first,
If they're codes.
well, that's just the part, there's nothing that says you can't park, but you can live there up to 6 months, like, Matthew Housley built, Sotheby, he lived in his camper and built that place. We can't tell him, you can't tell nobody, they can, how long can you be there?
Edgar
Up to, you can live in one up to a year. But you gotta have a progress report after 6 months. And I mean, there's nothing we can really,
But that's,
See,
that's kind of
what we're
irrelevant.
saying, because item 4 in the covenant for our neighborhood
Yeah.
says you can't live in a trailer.
I agree with you 100% on all that, but we can't enforce subdivision restrictions.
No,
We
I understand that,
Yeah.
right. But what we were
trying to
saying.
understand the law.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like you, I wish we could fix it, I'd give anything if I could just go over and say, hey, just keep it, but I mean, it's.
We just are frustrated that we didn't get a meeting
Well,
with the
now,
planning commission.
I promise you, when I'll get with Jack, when I leave here or in the morning, if it's late, and I'll call him and I'll call you.
If they draw a check, and I know they do, they should have entertained the meeting,
You know there was a granted a meeting with the whole body, wasn't it?
correct?
You know there was granted a meeting.
Correct.
That's what he.
Correct.
And I think the purpose of the meeting was to determine the zoning and to interpret, mobile home, manufactured home, et cetera.
We
That
just
was-
trying
I
to
think
get
that was the reason for
answers,
the-
we just trying to get answers.
I'll be more than glad to try to find you one, and like I said, that place, it needs cleaned up bad.
I think things are resolving themselves, but if the planning commission is sanctioned by you all, they need to do a better job.
Yeah, I thought all of it was worked out between when we talked to the attorney and Jim Jack, and just, I ain't trying to pass it off on them,
Right.
We understand that now.
And that, like I said, on the cleanup part, now we can enforce that 100%, we can, and the slum ordinance, I mean, we can make them clean it up.
Great,
You know.
tag it, give it to the new owner.
Well, like on the ordinance, the city ordinance, is there something that should be flagged on that piece of property, that said this property is condemned?
Yeah, it should be, well, we ain't condemned it, but there should probably be trespassing signs, I'm sure, because it's It's a hazard.
Yeah, people's in and out there all
You
the
know,
time.
it could be a fire issue, safety issue, I mean.
That's what the document I filed on
That's
the
what,
29th
yeah, you know,
was for.
if I was filed that saying that it would be condemned, and nothing happened, they're still in there just like they were before anything happened, you
Well,
know?
now, like I said, I know they said it sold, and they ain't gonna have no meter, no service over there.
Well, I think Pound Lynch came today and did a disconnect on the gas.
And something. That's all I know.
That- And, I talked to, another guy, and he said that, the water, they'd already, I think, turned the water off.
And see, that's what we're saying, that should have been done all along, you know, it shouldn't come to this before we talked about it, you know?
I mean, I've talked to y'all about that, and I don't have, it ain't, I'm trying to pass it off on nobody, or, and as soon as we can find out who purchased it, they'll get the letter, they'll enforce it till they clean it up. Because Daniel, he hand delivers those notices, it ain't something we'll send through the mail, they hand deliver.
Was there ever an investigation on what caused the fire? Did you know?
No, I talked to Jason, he said it was like, there wasn't no,
There wasn't a formal investigation.
no, he said there was no reason for one. There was no-
State law requires an investigation. Anytime there's a residential fire, anytime there's a fire at all that causes any amount of damage, state law requires an
Well,
investigation.
they investigate, I guess they investigate what caused it, rule it out is, I don't know what, I can't make this statement, I don't know. You'd have to talk to the fire chief on that one.
Okay,
Because the TBI is one that always investigates that stuff.
okay.
We appreciate,
Don't you, Daniel?
Tennessee Bond Law,
Was what?
Tennessee Bond Law. They're the ones that would be called in to investigate a fire if they thought they was misconduct or intentional theft.
we appreciate what you've conveyed and tried to help us to do. We don't want to leave here thinking that
No, I don't-
we're, you know,
no.
whining and so forth. We appreciate it, but, and I
I don't
think
blame
it's
you, I know
resolved.
all of them.
Well, and they made a comment in the meeting that we've had, we don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, and we're sorry this happened to them, you know?
I'm the
But
same way,
at the
you
same
know.
time, we shouldn't lose what we have because somebody else lost. And that's the only thing we're trying to do. We're not trying to be negative or nasty in any way, we're just trying to protect what we have.
We've got a covenant.
Well,
We expect people to live by that covenant in that neighborhood. That's the bottom line.
Like, I don't know, you might want to talk to an attorney on those restrictions.
We have,
We have,
Did
we
they
know our
take-
rights.
I mean.
We know a lot more than we knew a month
Okay.
ago, so.
On that part, 'cause I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not 100%, but the only thing I know, the city attorney said we can't enforce those. But we
No.
can enforce the other issue.
right, so that's kind of what I was saying. So permitting somebody to live in a trailer on the, while that's allowed in the town of Jacksboro, it's not allowed in our subdivision, based on the rules of the covenant. And that's kind of where it gets a little sticky, and I understand it's not the city can't enforce that, and we understand that.
Now, they can't live there no longer than a year. We can't enforce that if they're there longer than a year, you can say, hey, you can't do it, get out of here.
Right, so that's
Am I
where,
right?
so that's where we had talked to an attorney to find out if this document was legal and binding, and if we could enforce it in a court of law, and he assured us that we could. And we didn't want to go down that road. You know, nobody wants to go to take their neighbors to court, you don't want to do that.
Well, and if that trailer, say if they did go over there and put a tent pole and was living in 6 months, if they don't show no proper support, we gotta go, you know, that's all. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
On the city's part, but your
Right.
part, you probably can go to, it's a civil, and get a court order, and then say you're violating this subdivision restrictions, you gotta get it down.
And that's where it was
Where
going.
we were
Yeah.
headed.
And thankfully,
I don't
no,
believe it goes, I don't believe it come down that, I hope it don't.
no, I don't think so either. But, you know, that's the path we are on, unfortunately. You know, and we want to preserve, I mean, we want people to love where they live.
Well, I'm your witness, I went over, Jimmy's looked at it, I don't know if we had a check, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It needs attention, it needs to be cleaned up.
It's been a mess for a long time.
Yeah.
It is.
And we want to make sure that the town, that the city does their due diligence based on the municipal codes to help that process along. So we appreciate your help.
We'll stay after, we get something done.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll
Appreciate
come
it.
over here and fuss at me what's the matter. But we'll do what we can.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And do talk to Jack.
Okay, I will, I'll call him, or if I don't call, I'll holler at you tomorrow.
That'd be good.
If I don't holler at you, yell at me, 'cause I've been up all night.
Looking at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can say to go help them. It's good neighborly, go help your neighbor.
They're worried about property value. Yeah. They don't even live up there. Claims to
It's not I mean, they have
What's your prescription, Mary Green?
Bobby, I didn't know who you were. You surprised me, I think.
Need some glasses?
People think you went to get some, I'm blind as a man.
Why didn't you tell them to go help them clean it up if they're so worried about it? That's what I would have done.
It's a mess over there, it is.
Why don't they have them clean it? They don't like looking at it.
Let's see, do we have a motion to appoint Jimmy back as vice mayor?
Yeah.
I second.
Yeah.
Jimmy?
They might like it.
Do we have a motion for the contract for the audit?
Second. Jimmy?
Yeah.
China?
Yes. I apologize, I've been up all night long. Did you all have something? Okay.
We're just being nosy.
Okay. I didn't know, I thought.
We're not being nosy, we've never been, I've never been, so.
Sitting here,
That's
Hey, we
probably
didn't have
nosy.
nothing else to do, sit on the board.
I need to be at home for meeting, I thought you'd come over here and chut me.
Civic nosy.
Another thing is to approve the authorization for CJUC sewer ordinance.
This gentleman here is with Carol Jacksboro.
What,
Yes, it's just basically to send the updated sewer ordinance, Title 18 to TDEC for them to approve it. The board's already voted on it, and everything's been approved. Changes have been made. We just need to send it to them to get their approval, and we need your approval to do that.
well, do we have a motion for that? I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
No, say second.
Jimmy?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes. This other here is to approve the interlocal agreement with the town of Carrollville Police Department. That's basically the mutual aid, ain't it, Daniel?
Yes, same one. Every department in the county already signed it. They said it's just an agreement they do anytime a new chief comes in or a new mayor's race or anything like that, they always do it then.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Roy? Yes.
Jimmy?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes. This other Kayla Williams. That's you?
That's me.
I'm sorry.
For what?
What was your name?
So, and I apologize in advance because I've been traveling for the last few weeks and I saw when I came back, there's, I think, been some more updates from the state on the Jacksboro Library and the MOE and all that. My concern came before that. And just to pose a little bit of context, we moved up here September 2022. This September will be 3 years. And it took me a while to realize where the Jacksboro Library was and understand the difference between, I only thought there was a countywide library system. Realize it's not.
I was confused with it.
So I learned and tried to understand all of that. And I took a job with the Dollywood Foundation remote, and I didn't have a printer. So I was in the library all day, every day, for a long time there. And I realized there was no programming. There were no summer book reading, and I just kind of started picking through that to understand why. Also, it comes from a place of being a parent with 2 kids and not having anywhere to go and anything to do in Jacksboro. We have great, outdoor recreation around us, but other than that, there's nothing. And so with a teenager and a toddler, I come from a place where we were at the library all the time, maybe open half-day Saturday. And so I just started picking. I didn't realize I was picking at a scab, that there's already been issues with funding. So looking at the city budget and seeing a surplus, just trying to understand why there's these issues of maintenance of effort and just the funding around it. Is it not supported? What can we do to have a better supported library?
Where would you want the library?
Oh my goodness. I made a list. And I think it's important that everybody knows the benefits of a fully supported and fully funded library.
Yes.
And I can print this and give it to you if you'd like, but I brought research and stats from boosting student success in school, preparedness for pre-K, supporting adult education and jobs, keeping kids safe, keeping them engaged, giving them a place to go, things to do. I certainly don't mean in the way of babysitting and staying open just for middle school kids to come over and hang out, but it would be better than the alternative where they're going and getting in trouble and getting into drugs. And there's a very high return in investment on investing in a library. For every $1 you invest in a library, $5 goes back value into the community. And
I agree with kind of what you're saying there, but the library here, every time I'm around, the library ain't that busy. We've all checked it. I mean,
it's not busy, I think, for a number of reasons. Parking is an issue, hours are an issue, staff is an issue, the fact that it's not its own standalone building and it's in a municipal building that closes at 5. So your hands are really tied there, I get that. I think there's a lot of reasons that I think definitely could be improved.
well, I tell you what you might can do. You need to probably talk to the county and see if they can find a place for a county library.
You mean a standalone building?
Yeah.
And if
This is just, where do you live?
I live off Eagle Bluff, just kind of cattywampus the middle school.
You can maybe approach the county commission about it, because this is what we got, and this, that's what we budget.
Well, fine that it stays in this room, but
And we've got you need to probably talk to the library.
well, I've talked to the library. Now I'm talking to you all because this sits with you all. We have a city budget with a surplus that sits there every year, and I just want to understand why we're facing maintenance of effort when we've got funds that sit there.
Well, first of all, Dan, he was a previous department head of that department. I've not had no complaints from him or the other librarian. She didn't mention that.
They're not complaining, I'm a resident and I'm complaining.
Okay, we'll work on putting that maybe some more in the budget for it. But that's all what we got, what we budget, that's what we can afford. I'm sorry it's not what you want.
Well, I'm not asking for millions to be
Put
put.
it on, we're gonna do, anybody else got anything? I don't know what you want.
I just explained that
Well, I
it
just
needs to be
explained.
supported. We have
We
money
should-
in our
you-
city budget.
You know, but
It doesn't
what
even
I'm
have
saying-
2 full staff members. So how can one person create programming when she can't run a desk and create programming and do all the things that a fully supported library needs to do?
Well, one reason we can't afford it right now, that's one thing. And if you can get the county to give us some more money on it, that's fine too.
When you say we can't afford it, and I see a surplus
Yeah.
of 2 million on the budget,
Yeah,
why can we not afford it?
because we can't.
That's,
In the bank. That's entirely something different. We can move that out of the general fund, most, what's there. But a lot of that money, the interest off that money is what runs this city, is what you don't understand. We don't have.
I do understand
We
that.
don't have a tax here, is what I'm trying to say. We do with what we got.
So why have it if we can't use it?
Because we use it to operate.
And the city
Yeah.
library is in operation.
Well, look at what it's got for no city tax. You want a city tax?
If it meant a better funded library for the children and
Well,
future
you
of this
need- what you need
community,
to do-
yes.
What you need to do is, you can run for office.
I will.
And you
This
can
isn't-
speak all you want to speak on. That's what we got.
So you're not open to even entertaining programming or a fully staffed or
Well,
fully.
I'm sorry, that's all we got for the size of this city.
You're talking about a little community,
Yes,
a little town.
which is where
This ain't no
I'm,
place like where you live before.
you didn't even ask where I lived before.
You said you lived in Eagle
That's
Bluff.
what I'm saying. People, do you see? a lot
I'm
of people
from an
that-
East Tennessee
you've been to
community
the
with a
meetings.
great library.
People don't take a stand for stuff like that.
We don't have the money for
No.
Well, agree to disagree. People take a stand about things they're passionate about, and education and the future of the community is
What
definitely
people?
one.
You keep saying them people. What people?
Me, my kids, her schools, they're,
That's more, though. I mean, you're talking about yourself and stuff.
it's been
I
in the
bet you
news
don't lie.
over and
I've
over and
never
over.
had-
People obviously care.
it. I've not heard, you're the first person that's ever come and complained about it.
Yeah.
That's not accurate. That's not accurate. There's
Well,
been
you
plenty
How
of
long have you been on
complaints.
board? You 4 years. How long have you been on board? I've been here 12, it'll be 12 years.
So the state
never had
library
nobody
hasn't been
complain about it.
complaining for at least 2 years.
Oh, they come wanting money.
No, they want you
No,
to do
they
your part.
wanted, they wanted money, we can pull the records up and you can look at them. They wanted us to give them a bunch of money and them hire a librarian.
Yes, to
Okay.
support a library for the community, for the people.
We
in
can't
the
afford to
community.
pay a librarian $100,000 a year.
Nobody, that's
That's what the
outrageous.
state wanted.
I would love to see that, right, I would love to see that request, because I read the transcribed between when
Where'd you get it at?
the news. It was the whole article about the state coming, not this time, but the
Well,
last time.
This is
in
what this
Louisville.
council has voted to do. We've got one person, and we've got, 2 part-time. That's what we budget. That's all I can tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. Vote us out next time, run for office. That's what we appropriate for that, and that's what it's gonna be. Okay? So we'll move on.
I hear that's what you got in mind anyway. You want to be on this council.
I don't want to be on the
Well, that's
council.
what I vote.
I
I've
was
been
here
here
last time and we,
75 years I lived here. I know people.
that's
And when
fine.
you say something, it gets back.
Do we have a motion to
It's
approve
ridiculous that you're upset about me wanting a better library.
employment of Casey Heisler as a full-time police officer?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
June,
Yes.
Sharon.
Do we have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
Make a motion.
Second.
Yeah.
Jim,
The next thing is, I talked to Brian Osborne, and they discussed that, it's a driveway, is what it is, off School Road. And he was wanting to know if we'd accept that for a city street, and I told him, we'd have to go before the board, I can't make that decision. So, it's just a gravel lane. So we have a motion. Well, if the city did want to accept it, it'd have to be like a subdivision or anything else, they'd have to, well, it would have to meet the specs, state specs, before we'd accept it as a city street, is what I'm saying. No motion to accept. Do we have a motion to approve the expenditure and finance? Make a motion.
Second.
Roll. James.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes. I want to get back to the lady in the library. Hey, on this library, if you've got some ideas, go to the lady that works at the library. As far as the staffing and all that, I don't know, we can, what we got, but if you've got any ideas, some stuff that we can buy or put in the budget for the library, we don't have, we can put it when we have a budget meeting, but she's got to come and address this council. Because we don't know what she got, I don't know what you've got there.
If I created a 501c3 Friends of the Library that worked specifically to raise funds for the library, would that be an issue?
I don't know what you're talking about.
A Friends of the Library is a nonprofit organization that specifically gets out there and raises funds for the
Well,
library.
we might can do that through the county library, but we can,
They did that. They had friends in the library years ago. If you go on there.
I mean, stuff like that, but what I'm saying is, what money we put in there, what we've had to make the cuts, we've had to make, and everybody goes on, they say the money, they're sitting on money. The money you sit on, you draw interest off that money. That helps run the city, pay the bills every month. If you go start throwing that money away, that money ain't coming in no more. That's sure money you'll get every year off the interest off that money.
So what you're saying is, I'm new to the area too, it'll be 3 years in August, that the town library, you guys have nothing to say for it, it's a county library?
No, the county gives us, we get $5,000 a year from the state, the county, that's all we get.
Not much.
And then
No, it's not.
Not at all.
the local municipalities then have to run their
Yeah,
own.
we're
outside.
gonna say, that's what
I
I'm saying.
agree, the library does, I agree, they need something for the kids.
Well, there's stuff
in this
there,
town.
we're doing the best we can with what we got. We could use
Yeah.
probably 35 policemen, but we can't do it. We could use 40 firemen down here, but we can't do it. We just do what we can do.
Oh, I
what we
understand,
got.
it's just sad,
'Cause you
These
don't want
kids
to-
are going by drugs because there's nothing for them to do,
Oh, I've lived here all my
Sad.
life, and you see.
It's getting worse.
With what money you got here, we try to make it work. And I don't wanna get out here and bankrupt the city and have to put a city tax on it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll assure you,
But it's for the kids, I think the tax would be worth it if it's gonna go toward the kids, because it needs something.
well, in your future, I don't, anything to do to help those kids, but when, we got somebody that takes care of the library. And if she comes, she needs to go to her. Then she needs to approach the council and say, hey, we need to purchase this or something. I just can't go to,
No, I understand.
I don't know what that,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
sad, yeah.
saying? You can't,
So who runs the library?
you got, yeah,
Who runs it?
Gaither, what's Gaither?
Gatha Doherty's the
Doherty.
librarian.
I'm sorry?
Gatha Doherty is her name, the librarian.
That'd be like if you come here right now and say the police department needs 30
No,
bulletproof
yeah.
vest, I
Yeah,
can't
know.
just say, Daniel, do you need that? You know, I can't just up and say, we gotta acknowledge her just like any other department. That's her department. You need to kind of, you can, you know, work with her.
I know that where I come from in the state of New Hampshire, they did a specific tax for 5 years, and they took that tax money and they put it aside for the roads and the bridges, you know, I mean, maybe there's something that could build toward or something, I don't know. You know? I'm just saying, you know.
We try to, and I promise you, everybody goes thinks politics is crooked, we
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about this crooked. They ain't nobody, they audit this place, you can see what money they got, what they pay out. You
Yeah, I
can
know.
see.
Anyway, I understand, you know, it's sad.
And I know nobody don't want no tax, I don't want one, you know, and we just try to make the best with what we got.
Yeah.
But,
So-
do you volunteer at the library now?
I don't, I was, and I asked, I got to know Gaither pretty well when I was spending a lot of time over there, using the printer primarily. I'd say if you had a line item of income from printing in 2023, it was all me. But I asked about Friends of the Library, and she said she wasn't really sure, you know, it was something that would need to be brought in front of the city. And about maybe like a Saturday program, and I was really only helping move books and boxes, and I told her that I was happy to create a social media presence. But that's something that I'd need to get run through you all. Manage a website, I mean, I do all of that, I just,
What I'm saying is, you need to talk to her, and she needs to come down. So basically what you're doing is saying she ain't doing her job.
no, well, I don't know, is it her responsibility to
Well,
run
you're making-
social media?
Well,
I don't
she's the
know.
librarian, I
Yeah,
mean, when you're saying.
well, she's
they
doing a
do
great
it,
job inside the library,
Well,
but a social media presence, I don't know if she's required to do that or not, I don't.
Well, she reports to us on the program and what she needs, I mean,
Okay,
if you feel like she ain't doing her job. I
I'm not
mean,
saying that.
But you know where I'm coming
Yeah.
from, though, basically, I can't go over her head and, because you're coming up with all these ideals, I mean, you need to go to her, then she can approach the council.
so if I was willing to do a Saturday summer reading program or something, I'd run that by Gaitha, and if she thought that it was worth doing, she would bring that to you all?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
That's my whole point, I mean, if you're here to complain about it.
And I'm not trying to complain, I'm trying to find solutions, and I did talk to
Well,
her, and she
well,
thought that it
you
was
know,
best
I
that I
can-
talk to you all.
I can't sit and answer all your questions, because I don't know, that's her department, and she's not here. If she was here, like we asked the police chief, I could ask Daniel, or we could ask her if she'd be here, and you could communicate, you need to get with her.
Okay.
And if you want, maybe part-time work there, or something, you know, just, something like that you want.
I'd be
do,
happy
you-
to volunteer, I
well,
just
you
thought
need to Get
that
with
was
her on
something,
that.
okay. Okay.
And you and her can communicate, and next month, you know, maybe we can work, figure out some stuff. I can't go to changing stuff without asking her.
Okay.
That's her department. So, do we have a motion to approve the expenditure of finance? Yeah. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
I see.